Attention raiders, there's a human among us. For your survival, leave this ship while you still can. Beginning. The pirate vessel Ironfang drifted through the nebula like a predator in murky waters, its hull patched with stolen steel and scorched plating from a dozen raids. Inside, the crew of mercenaries, scaled brackens, sharp-fanged Valari, and other outcasts of the galaxy roared with laughter as their latest catch was pulled into the docking bay. It was a civilian transport, sleek and harmless, its cargo holds heavy with trade goods. Easy prey. The captain, a hulking bracken named Goreth Vek, bared his fangs as he addressed the trembling hostages. You've had the misfortune of crossing into Ironfang territory. Hand over your valuables, and perhaps you live. But before the pirates could begin stripping the ship, a quiet voice echoed across the bay, relayed through the transport's intercom. Attention raiders, there's a human among us. For your survival, leave this ship while you still can. The laughter stopped. The aliens glanced at each other uneasily. The word human hung in the air like a curse. Goreth snarled. Who dares mock us with ghost stories? Humans are myths. They burn themselves out before reaching the stars. Yet the silence among his crew betrayed fear. Stories spread across the galaxy. Tales of the species from Sol, beings who fought like demons, who adapted to anything, who never knew when to surrender. Many claimed they were extinct. Others whispered they still wandered, dangerous and rare. And now someone had just announced one was here. Middle. The pirates tore through the transport, searching every corner. They dragged out frightened traders, crying children, and weary elders, but none looked like the legends described. Then they found him. He sat calmly in the mess hall, hands folded, watching them with steady eyes. His frame was not massive, lean muscle under worn armor, a face weathered but unyielding. Name, Goreth demanded, pressing a blade to the stranger's throat. The man didn't flinch. Daniel Cross, Terran Defense Corps, retired. A hush fell.
Terran.
Human. The words carried weight. One Valari pirate hissed and stepped back. He admits it openly. Captain, we should leave. Goreth growled. One man cannot stop 50 armed raiders. But Daniel's eyes were calm, almost pitying. You've already lost. You just don't know it yet. The pirates burst into laughter again, their fear masked by bravado. But unease lingered. Every alien on that ship had heard the stories. Humans were fragile compared to Brackens or Valari, but where others broke, humans endured. Where others fled, humans fought harder. It wasn't strength or claws or venom. It was something deeper, something unstoppable. And then the fighting began. Rising conflict. It started when two pirates lunged at Daniel, eager to silence the myth. He moved like lightning. One elbow shattered a jaw, a knee crushed another's ribs. In seconds, both attackers lay groaning on the floor. Daniel seized one of their rifles, dismantled it in a blur of motion, and tossed the useless pieces aside. The crew froze. No ordinary mercenary moved like that. Goreth roared. Kill him. The bay erupted into chaos. Plasma fire lit the air. Blades flashed. But Daniel didn't cower. He dove into cover, used the pirates' own crates as shields, and struck with ruthless precision. Every move wasted nothing. Every strike landed with surgical efficiency. The civilians watched in stunned silence as one man tore through their captors like a force of nature. But it wasn't raw violence alone that terrified the pirates. It was his calm. Daniel fought as though he had done this 1,000 times, as though he had already calculated every outcome. Fall back, shouted a Valari gunner, panic seeping into his voice. He's one of them. He's a human. The words spread like wildfire. Terror followed. The turning point. By the time half the crew lay unconscious or worse, Goreth realized brute force would not win. He snarled into the ship's comms. Seal the bays. Vent the air. Drown him in vacuum. But Daniel had anticipated it. He slammed his palm on a console he had sabotaged earlier. The doors sealed, not the bay, but the pirates' own escape routes. Their traps backfired, their systems crippled.
How?
Goreth bellowed. Daniel's expression didn't change. Because I learned to fight enemies who were smarter, stronger, and faster than me. And I learned to win anyway. The remaining pirates hesitated. For the first time in their lawless lives, they wondered if plunder was worth their lives. Daniel raised his voice, steady and cold. Attention, raiders. You thought humans were a story. You thought we burned out. But here I stand. For your survival, turn around.
Leave.
This ship is not yours. Silence followed. Weapons clattered to the floor. One by one, the raiders retreated, dragging their wounded, too shaken to continue. The myth had proven real. Only Goreth remained, eyes burning with fury. You think one human can end me? He growled, drawing a plasmax. Daniel finally smiled. Not end. Remind. The duel was short and brutal. Goreth swung with all the strength of his kind, enough to split stone. Daniel slipped past every strike, every reckless charge, and answered with precision. A shattered wrist, a crushed knee, a final strike to the chest that dropped the Bracken captain to the floor. Breathing hard, Daniel stepped back. You're lucky. I don't kill unless I must. Take your crew.
Leave.
Broken and humiliated, Goreth crawled away, spitting curses. But he obeyed. Ending. When the last pirate ship fled the nebula, silence filled the transport. Civilians slowly emerged, staring at the man who had saved them. One young trader whispered, "Are you really human?" Daniel glanced at him, then at the others. He saw fear, awe, and hope mingled in their eyes. "Yes," he said simply, "and we're not extinct. We're just scattered, waiting, watching." He turned to leave, but the ship's captain stopped him. "Why help us? You owed us nothing." Daniel's gaze softened. "Because that's what we do. When the galaxy turns dark, when no one else stands, humans do. And that's why you warn pirates to run when one of us is on board." The story spread like wildfire through the trade lanes. Every raider, smuggler, and mercenary soon heard the tale of a single human who held off an entire crew, who turned myths into reality. And the warning became legend, whispered in cantinas and shadowed docks. If there's a human on board, turn around. Don't test them. Don't try. For your survival, leave. And across the stars, where warlords and pirates once ruled without fear, a new shadow returned to haunt them. The shadow of humanity, resilient, defiant, unbroken. Because sometimes one human is all it takes to change everything.